Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video here on FPL Now. Today we're going to be going over a potential wildcard draft for Game Week 4, so if you're excited for the video, make sure to drop a like down below, leave a comment, are you thinking of wildcarding this week, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, this is the first wildcard draft we've done this season. There are quite a few fixture changes. Obviously, Arsenal's fixtures get a little bit worse. Man United's fixtures get a little bit worse. So, a few people are thinking about jumping on a wildcard. Personally, I think game week 8, 9 is probably a better time to do it. But if your team is just in shambles, you've got a Luke Shaw, you've got a Gabriel, all the problems that you need to put out, then maybe a wildcard is the way to go forward. It is, at the end of the day, very team dependent. And so this is a wildcard draft that hopefully should help you out for the next few weeks. So in goal, we do have Turner and Flecken. This is the best goalkeeper rotation combination that I think you can possibly get in the game. Obviously, Flecken has Bournemouth at home this week, which is very nice, and then he's got Newcastle away. But of course, Turner has Burnley at home, which is a very good fixture for Forest, so you can easily play Turner that week. And then obviously you can play Flecken for Everton and Forest. And then obviously when he has United away, you do have Crystal Palace away for Turner, which again isn't the best fixture for Forest, but it's a much better fixture than Man United away. So for the foreseeable future, the fixtures just do rotate very nicely between these two keepers. Only 8.5 mil for both of them as well. Obviously, if you wanted to spend a little bit more, then Edison is a really good option, but, you know, I don't think 5.5 is the best idea for a goalkeeper when, in reality, they can only really get you clean sheet points. Obviously, they make you save points every now and again, and maybe get a couple of bonus points here and there, but, you know, for a team like City, he's not going to be making a ton of saves because they just dominate the ball every single time. So, those are the two goalkeepers that I've gone with. I think they're much better options than, like, Pickford and stuff. Obviously, Johnston was a good option, but with the signing of Dean Henderson for Crystal Palace, he becomes less of a good option. So yeah, I think Flecken is just the way forward. So those are the goalkeepers. At the back, we have Udogie or Udogie, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. We've got Trippier, Chilwell, Gvardiol, and also Kabore. So a little bit different to your template that we're used to. There's no obviously Arsenal here, United here, or anything like that. You do have your City defender for the really good fixtures coming up for those. He does seem very nailed. He has played 90 minutes in the last 2 games. If you want a little bit more of a certainty for your defenders, I'd probably upgrade to a Diaz. It's only 0.4 more, but I think the Gvardiol should be fine anyway. Also, Chilwell, obviously, in this draft, one of the best defenders you could probably have in the game right now. He's not even a defender at the moment. He's playing left wing that much, having shots in the box, creating a lot of chances, just getting so far up the field. So, yeah, Chilwell has to be a staple in every single team right now, I believe, especially with those fixtures coming up. Trippier is in the team. He is a little bit expensive, so you could always downgrade. Again, Botman did go off injured, so if you didn't want to spend all the money on Trippier, then Botman might be an option if he is okay. If he's not okay, then yeah, I think Trippier could be a really good shout. You wouldn't have to play him this week. They do have Brighton away, which again, they potentially could concede in that game. But after that, Trippier's fixtures get really, really good for Newcastle. They have Brentford, Sheffield United, Burnley, West Ham, Crystal Palace and Wolves. So all the way up to game week 10, Trippier could be a really good option. Now, of course, there are Champions League fixtures that come into account, so potentially rotation risk is a factor with this player. But I think that he should be okay. And yeah, 6.5 is quite expensive, but we all saw how good Trippier was for the first half of last season. And with all these good fixtures coming up, hopefully we'll get quite a few assists and obviously on set pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, I think he's a decent little option, a bit of a differential as well, to be fair, to say how crazy owned he was last year. And then also the Spurs defender, really good option, looks to be very nailed, looks to be his spot to lose. Now, of course, Spurs have 2 really good fixtures and they have 2 really bad fixtures in Arsenal away and Liverpool at home. But again, you wouldn't have to play him in those 2 weeks. You could easily play Trippier, who's got Sheffield United away and Burnley at home. You'd play Chilwell, who's got Villa at home and Fulham away. And then you'd also play the City defender as well, who's got Forest at home and Wolves away. And then obviously, Kabore's there, just 4 mil defender, really good fixtures, nailed. Actually be getting into some really good positions as well. I do really like him as an option. Of course, Luton aren't going to be keeping that many clean sheets, if any. But still, from the attacking threat, if you do need a good bench option, then yeah, he is right there. So that's the defenders there. Really, really like the back line, and I think it is going to be the way forward personally. And if I was on a wild card, I would be going with something like that for sure. Again, depends on the Botman injury and stuff like that. If you didn't want to spend all the money on Trippier, you wanted to play a little bit safer, then yeah, Botman is a good option because he saves you 2 mil, which obviously is a lot of money to save. But of course, we'll have to see what the injury is like. Going into midfield though, we have Maddison, Saka, Sterling, Bruno Fernandes, and Mbeumo, or Mbumo, however you want to pronounce his name. Again, Maddison on set pieces, just the talisman of that Spurs side, are going to be heavily transferred in this week for sure. Again, if you aren't on a wild card and you are wanting to transfer these players in, then of course wait until after the cup games, because you never know if they're going to get an injury. Something could happen that's out of obviously your control and stuff. And if you spend a transfer on bringing Maddison in and then he gets injured midweek, you know, that's just going to make it so much worse. And it's the same for like other players that are also going to be playing midweek this week as well. It can happen to anybody, so just save the transfers, especially if you only have one as well. I get price rises are a massive factor, but with the big options this season, like obviously Kane's gone, Salah might be going. If Salah goes, then yeah, we're not going to be spending 100 mil really, because above like 10 mil, I think Haaland is like the only option that you're going to really want in your team. So yeah, the money isn't a massive factor this season. It's not like last season where you had all these different premiums that were all incredible. So yeah, that's just also something to think about. And then obviously Saka on penalties. It looks like he's back on penalties anyway. I don't know why Odegaard took that random one. He just asked Saka if he could take it. But yeah, it should be Saka on penalties. Sterling also in this draft as well. Again, numbers have been really, really good so far. The fixture run that they've got coming up is really good. And yeah, his penalty touches obviously had a really good game against Luton at home. And obviously Forest at home is also a very good fixture for them. So yeah, I'd expect Sterling to do well over the next 5 fixtures for sure. And again, it seems to be nailed as well. Of course, there's no Champions League or Europa League or European football or anything like that for Chelsea or Spurs. So you don't have to worry about that rotation risk really. Bruno Fernandes also in this draft. Again, Arsenal away this week, but he's like top for chances created, top for like everything stats wise. He's obviously been really, really good so far this season. On penalties as well. Absolute talisman for Man United. Everything goes through him. So yeah, I think he's definitely going to be a player that you have to have in your team really, and only for 8.5 mil as well. It's an absolute bargain for my opinion. And then also Mbeumo as well on penalties. Bournemouth at home this week. Again, Newcastle next week. It's not the greatest fixture, but you know, Newcastle can easily concede. Not the best when you're bringing in Trippier obviously, but yeah, the penalties are obviously a very good deciding factor for Mbeumo as well. So those are the midfielders. Again, you could have other options as well. You could bring in like the likes of Bowen, who obviously has Luton away this week, but then the bad thing about that is West Ham's fixtures just get so bad, and it's not really worth it. It's the same for like Villa players as well. Like you could have a Diaby in there, you could have a Matty Cash in there, but they've got Liverpool this week. And I feel like the fixtures aren't good enough yet for Villa. You know, they've got Crystal Palace at home after Liverpool, then they've got Chelsea away, Brighton at home. Like, these are fixtures they're probably not going to keep a clean sheet in. If you go to Matty Cash, the fixtures you want to be targeting are probably around game week 8, which is again why game week 8 wildcard is very, very good, because you'd be probably tripling up on Villa players there with Wolves, West Ham, Luton, Forest, Fulham, Spurs, and then Bournemouth, which again is another reason that I'm probably going to wildcard in game week 8 again, because I'll be wanting to bring some Villa players in there. But again, you got to target the fixtures that are right in front of you, not the ones that are like really, really far out. So that's the midfield there, and then up top we do have Archer, who is now signed for Sheffield United. I don't know if he's going to be scoring many goals at all, but he's a nice 4.5 mil striker that should be playing most games. I don't know if he's going to start for that Everton game, but after the international break, I could see him playing, 70 minutes every single game. So, yeah, I think Archer is a good option to have just as a backup for your bench. And then we've also got Jackson as well. Again, did just score his first league game. And yeah, the stats that he's kind of putting up this season are just insane. Very unlucky not to get an assist in the last fixture as well. Definitely could have hauled if Chilwell knew how to shoot properly, which is really unfortunate as a Chilwell and a Jackson owner. But yeah, I think with the fixtures coming up, tripling up on Chelsea is definitely a good shout. Again, they're not playing Luton at home every week, but the fixtures are still really, really good. They've got Forest home, then Bournemouth, Fulham, and Burnley in the next 5. So it'd be silly, I think, not to have a couple of Chelsea players. And then also, last but not least, Haaland. He's obviously just the machine. He's the robot. You got to have him in your team. So this is the wildcard draft that I've come up with. Like I say, I'd be going for something very similar to this if I was on a wildcard. The Trippier shout maybe could go to a different player. I don't really know who else you'd maybe bring in for him. There's not really too many other good fixtures you can really target as of right now. Again, you could go for a Matty Cash if you want to, and obviously play him in like the Bournemouth game and stuff like that. It's completely up to you. But I just think with the fixtures coming up for Trippier, he could be a little bit of a differential, to be fair. I think the Liverpool fixtures actually get pretty good as well soon. Let me just quickly have a look at that. They're not too bad. Let's just take Salah, for example. They do get a little bit better, obviously. Villa at home, then Wolves, West Ham, Spurs, Brighton. Like, Spurs and Brighton, both away games. Like, you don't really want Liverpool players for that. Everton, Forest, and Luton, Brentford. Like, I don't think right now is the time to target Liverpool defenders, especially with that Van Dijk red card as well. He'll be out for a few fixtures. So yeah, that's the wildcard draft to come up with. Let me know your thoughts on it. Would you change much about it? We'll go over my team selection in tomorrow's video. We'll do some transfer targets Thursday, and then, you know, take a look at the final team selection on Friday in case there's any changes from the cup games or anything like that. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.